Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, CNBC News Radio, NBC Sports Station, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, TuneIn, iTunes, Tiki Live. I almost made it through that time. Rumble and more. And this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words. No Kanye talk at all, because I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And so I have topics and guests to that end, and we have a number of things today. We're going to hear about sleep and sleep apnea, since it's Sleep Awareness Week, as well as it was just World Parkinson's Day. So we have an interview for that from the Parkinson's Foundation, and an on-location report with Supervisor Janice Hahn and Police Chief from LA County that are helping send things to the Ukraine, and then a personal appeal for some friends of mine, a group that's amazing. You all know I love jazz. DW3 is close to my heart, so we have a personal appeal for them. So that's today's very packed show. I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome to Ismail from Riverside. If you want a shout out, just go ahead and put where you're from and what your name is on the comment section. Thanks to my live engineer, Sam, and Polly. I'm so grateful to Mark Westwood, the station manager, for putting things back post-pandemic. And so now I get to broadcast live, which means you get to interact with me on either YouTube channel, that's a free subscribe, or my Facebook. So I'm happy to see eyeballs and super excited to be able to interact with you again on live. Now, you know that I start the morning with my traditional taking a bite. This is your breakfast. Take a bite of my gratitude sandwich. All right, that's the new music to go with the gratitude sandwich, in case your alarm has not woken you up yet. So what I do is ask you, and if you're still here, tuned in, you can put your gratitudes in the comment box, or you can turn to the person near you and just say 8 specific things that you are grateful for. And that's a great way to start your day instead of scrolling, okay, or just aimlessly reading news stories that really don't, there's nothing you can do about, or that upset you. So this is a choice in the morning to take a bite of the gratitude sandwich. So I've invited Sam to come and do his 3 gratitudes. I'm working him up to 8. So Sam's going to do 3. I'll do 3, and then Sam can do 3, and then I'll do the rest of my 5. Okay? Sam, you ready? Yeah. All right. So, what do I say? I'm thankful for. Yeah, I'm grateful for. So I'll start, and then you go next, and then we'll go back and forth and do sort of like tag team. Yeah, I like that. Okay, cool. I'm grateful for being live again on the air. That's a good one. I'm grateful for all the laughter that I had yesterday at my Ladybug Girlfriend first woman of color chief operating officer at LA County Fire at her retirement party.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
I'm grateful for God putting me on this earth, specifically here in the United States, to give me the freedom to really enjoy my life.
Beautiful. That's a really good one. I'm grateful that Fridays are my fun day and I get to play Mexican Train with my girlfriends today.
I'm grateful for working this morning, so I have the rest of the day to enjoy myself.
Beautiful. I'm grateful for the view of the ocean of abundance from my office.
Okay. I'm grateful for not being blind and being able to see the world that's offered.
That's a great one. I'm grateful for water that I can just get so easily, where some people in other countries don't even have clean water.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to steal your line. I'm also grateful for water because I have a small little headache. Not from drinking. Wink, wink.
I'm grateful that I am not hungover. I think we're on number 5. See, you did more than 3. You want to keep going? It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
I'm grateful for being on the radio.
I'm grateful for being on the radio for 500. Okay. I'll add to mine to 516. Or actually, this is the end of week 515 consecutive weeks.
That's pretty good. Okay. I'm grateful for Mark Westwood.
Aw, I'm going to steal that. I'm grateful for Mark Westwood. Okay, go ahead.
I'm grateful for the California sunset.
Oh, that's a really good one. I'm grateful for my station owner, Fred Lundgren in Texas, who's ultimately responsible for you coming on to help me with live. And one more. This is the 8th one.
I'm grateful for the life that I have.
Beautiful.
If I were to choose, I had one wish. I wish to live my life all over again.
Oh, that's really good, Sam. I'm going to have to do a bonus. I'm so grateful that I got an engineer who's not only really good on the boards, but is such a perfect match for me in his attitude and his BS belief systems that I'm just so grateful for you, Sam. Yeah, and it's not even compliment and caller Tuesday, Thursday. There you go. All right, and that is it. We'll close the sandwich. Can you tell I like that music? The gratitude sandwich. Now, that is how I start every single day. And I'm really glad that I get to start it with you now that way. And then tonight, 8 appreciations of who you are. 8 things that you like about yourself. And I promise you'll have a better night's sleep. So don't go away. We'll be right back here on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. I messed up. Did you already go over?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy.
Dr. Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa.
That's the idea for Dr. Marissa Pay's new book called 8 Ways to Be Happy.
Many of us say, I am my own worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than I am. And my response to that is, stop it! Why are you doing that to yourself? You have to be your biggest fan, because if you can't at the end of the day say, I did a good job, who is? We don't have to constantly be angry at the things that are wrong. Why don't we choose to be happy about things that are right? We have the choice. That's our muscle. And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
We had no sound, Sam. Thank you, Ismail, for that. I am so grateful that I have interactions so people can know that I'm not talking, that they can hear. Did you know that the number one phrase that describes the pandemic that everyone now knows is "you're on mute"? So I just did that accidentally as as an example. How's that, Sam? Anyways, I think I muted myself. That's why you didn't know I was muted. But thank you so much, Ismail, for being part of the show and helping me with that. Y'all know the introduction already. You know this is Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And I just invited you to my YouTube channel where you get a free subscribe. And that's where Ismail is chatting with me right now from Riverside. If you'd like me to give you a peace in, peace out shout out, just go ahead and go to the comment section and put something down there. Now, I have an on-location report that I was just so happy to be called to cover it. Some of you know I'm a beat reporter freelancing for a New York news agency, and I get called to cover stories. And when they're really good stories, I bring them to the show. So without further ado, here is what I did yesterday.
And good afternoon. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live. You know me as the Asian Oprah, and you know that I love to balance out all the bad news with some good news on what's right with the world, what's right with people, what's right with firefighters, even though we know it's all good with you guys. But if you could introduce yourself and tell me why you're here.
Well, I'm Chad Sauerbeer, Battalion Chief, and we're here to donate equipment to Ukraine.
Beautiful. And?
Sure. Captain Ron Harrelson here to support here in Inglewood, Station 171, LA County Fire, with the community support, with Supervisor Hahn support. We're ready to send the equipment.
Fantastic. And last but not least?
Firefighter Specialist Craig Little, and we're definitely here to support the victims in the country of Ukraine, and we're giving it all the support we possibly can.
Fantastic. And what are you sending over?
Various firefighting equipment, turnout coats, turnout jackets, turnout pants. We also have turnout boots. We also have body armor as well.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for what you do. And we just came from a fire retirement party together of Donna Lawrence.
Small world.
Small world.
Absolutely.
All right, do this with me. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See, this is the good action shots here.
My name is Janice, Janice Hahn, Hahn. I'm a Los Angeles County Supervisor, and I'm here with the Chief of our Fire Department, Daryl Osby, and we today are announcing that the Fire Department has put together some surplus equipment that we will be sending to the Ukraine for the first responders and firefighters over there. We're packing up helmets and boots, turnout coats, body armor, and we even have some medical supplies, medication that we think will be very valuable as they're over there fighting for their lives, fighting this war against Russia to save their homeland. I'm very proud of our department. I've seen them step up to provide mutual aid to different cities and counties that are under fire, literally, fire. But this is the first for me to think that we, in our own small way, can be helping out those in the Ukraine, and it makes me proud as an American, and it makes me very proud as a Los Angeles County Supervisor.
Beautiful, thank you. Anything to add, Chief?
I know, right? My name is Daryl Osby. I'm the Fire Chief of the Los Angeles County Fire Department. And to echo what our Honorable Supervisor just said, the Los Angeles County Fire Department is extremely proud to partner with the firefighters in Ukraine. As you can imagine, just firefighting here in our country is extremely difficult with all the proper gear and training that our firefighters have. Our firefighters put their lives on the line to protect the lives and property of others. I can't even imagine the Ukrainian firefighters during a war with limited supplies, with bombs and death around them. So the Los Angeles County Fire Department, in support of the First Firefighter Foundation, is extremely proud. We have over a ton of excess firefighting gear that we're proudly giving the brave firefighters of Ukraine to enable them to continue to put their lives on the line to protect the citizens and property in Ukraine. So we're extremely proud of this collaboration.
Great, thank you so much.
Wasn't that great? I'm going to give a little applause because I'm just so impressed with how, it's like, it's tough, hearing the news about what's going on and feeling like we can't do anything, and to have this opportunity to know that, we're helping in ways that we can, and sending surplus fire equipment over there that was amazing. And, I love covering stories like that because most of the news, if it bleeds, it leads, and it brings out the worst in people. So I am determined to cover news that is what's right with people instead of what's wrong with people, or, what's right with the world instead of saying, the world is going to hell in a handbasket. So hopefully you enjoyed that. You can support LA County's efforts any way you can. And, you often hear about what's wrong with government or what's wrong, what police or fire, what people are doing wrong. And so it's not that way. But if the news highlights the worst, that's your impression. So it is my job to balance out the bad news with some good news. And I am going to come back and let you know about Sleep Awareness Week. I have a wonderful interview with Dr. Carlos Nunez, and he's going to tell us about sleep apnea. But before that, I wanted just to give a shout out and an appeal to all of you who are jazz lovers. I know I have a lot of listeners who love jazz and got free tickets to Keiko Matsui and enjoyed her. And DW3 is very close to my heart. It's when I was going through a very rough divorce where I ended up having to pay quite a bit of money. And the judge, my lawyer said to the judge, "But Your Honor, that's not fair," when the judgment came down on how much I had to pay. And the judge looked straight at me and said, "Well, you wanted equal rights." So anyways, during that time, I was, very sad, very angry. And the only relief I got was to go to try to find places I knew music would lift my spirits. And so I found Spaghettini's where DW3 was playing every Thursday night. And I'll tell you that year, because we were going through the custody battle, and I could only see the kids on the weekend because he was the stay at home because he didn't like to work. So my husband was able to do that. And it was hard for me during the week. So every Thursday night I would go and just listen and dance and be, forget what was going on. And so for that reason, DW3 is so close to my heart. And every time I would come in, they go, "And the doctor's in the house." But they're in need of our help right now. It's Eric had I believe it was Eric had a heart attack New Year's Eve, and his brother Billy has COVID and was in the ICU for an extended period of time. His wife also has COVID, been on ventilator. So it's time for us to help them. This group is DW3, and they have a GoFundMe page. And I was trying to figure out if I could show that on the screen, but I'll have to try to do it during break. But I'm going to donate $80 because you know how much I love 8. And I would love it if you could match me and see if we can't raise some funds for DW3 that is going through a temporarily tough time. As well, you can also get a free streaming concert on March 22nd. Eric Marienthal and very special guests are going to hold a streaming concert online at 7:00. So you can get tickets to that and also help support DW3. So please go to GoFundMe or go to spaghettinis.com. They have information there. Thank you, Eric Marienthal, for the help that you are providing. He is providing $10,000. He is the musical director at Jazz Cruise Lines, and I have friends there as well. So I'm really asking for help for those of you who are not, for people who are temporarily going through something tough. And so GoFundMe for DW3. All right. So that's my personal appeal. When we come back, we've got 2 interviews, one with sleep awareness and the other with Parkinson's disease. When we come back here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Want delicious Vietnamese Asian fusion cuisine that is so good for your health you won't believe your taste buds? Olac is a 100% plant-based vegan restaurant founded by Mai on living foods and a love for animals that won't make you sacrifice taste for health. 2 locations to delight you, downtown LA and Fountain Valley. So go to www.olac.com, AULAC, to book your reservation today. Saving the planet has never tasted so good.
Hi, my name's Dr. Marissa. You know me as the Asian Oprah and the celebrity host producer of your morning drive time show, 8 a.m., called Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And I'm on a happy 88 mission. That's 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. And therefore, I'm delighted to tell you we're going to start something new that balances out all the bad news and gives you something to smile about. Yes, I'm starting a compliment line. So if there's a compliment that you want to pay someone, maybe your boss, maybe that cute person that you've got your eye on, then you can do so by calling 888-909-1050 and tell my screener that I have a compliment for Dr. Marissa. So I'll put you on so you can give that compliment and feel good about giving it, and the person receiving will feel good as well. There's more than one way to be happy with Dr. Marissa. Keep it tuned here to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show at 8 a.m. weekday mornings here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. If conforming to the world was exploring the world? What if the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, little girl, turns into how many streets of life you want to explore? What if the purpose of life is not to die with the most toys to leave our squabbling relatives? What if the purpose of life was to do things that we enjoy most of the time? Have relationships that we enjoy most of the time, and use our unique talents, gifts, and abilities to fully express in the dash between birth and death? What if, as a direct result of this horrible pandemic, we could rise out of the ashes with a new
Take Back Your Life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Audible, and more. Why? Because I want the maximum splatter zone for you to be happy 88% of the time. And for those of you who are new, welcome to the show. If you're wondering why it's 88% and not 100% happy, it's because if you're 100% happy, you're dead. I don't want dead people walking or talking. Instead, most of the time is 88%. And it's especially good for perfectionists who want things, perfect. And when you're 88% happy or you're 88% fabulous, when you screw up, you're not so hard on yourself. Whenever I screw up, I say, I'm having a 12% moment, and knowing that most of the time I do not screw up. So there's a little happy 88 tip for you. And if you would like to be one of the sponsors for this show, you heard some of the commercials earlier, please do contact me at drmarissa.life, and we'll talk about how we can do that as you support my Happy 88 mission. Thank you so much. And I want to just recognize with an Asian Oprah giveaway, someone that has been very helpful this morning, who I know is listening on, Ismael Cortez. You win today's Asian Oprah giveaway. You get an audiobook of my best-selling book, 8 Ways to Happiness, from wherever you are. So encouraging people to stream on YouTube or Facebook, and then you can also win. So make sure you go to drmarissa.life, Ismael, and I'll send you the promo code and you get an audiobook. You can use it yourself or give it away. And now, I have an interview with Dr. Carlos Nunez. I hope this is the one. If not, it'll be the Parkinson's. So enjoy learning about things that are happening right now.
For her father, who also has Parkinson's. Plus, we're affects nearly 1 million Americans, and more than 60,000 new cases are diagnosed each year. Today, we'll learn firsthand just how this disease impacts individuals living with the disease and their families. Susan Brown is a person living with Parkinson's disease, as well as a caregiver for her father, who also has Parkinson's. Plus, we're joined by John Lehr, CEO of the nonprofit Parkinson's Foundation. Welcome to my show, John Lehr and Susan Brown.
Well, thank you so much.
And I think I mispronounced your name, John Lehr. There we go.
Oh, it's fine. It's really fine either way.
All right. Susan, please share your experience with Parkinson's and serving as a Parkinson's care partner. Got to be tough.
Sure. Yeah. Well, of course, it is for anybody who's a caregiver for a parent. But yeah. So my father also had young onset Parkinson's. He was diagnosed in his 50s. He is living with the disease still at 78. So our family's really been on this journey for 25 years. I was diagnosed in 2017. And had been experiencing symptoms a few years prior to that. And when I developed a tremor in my foot, I thought, I think I've seen this movie, and went to the neurologist and got a diagnosis. And so it's sort of a couple of things. One, makes me a better caregiver. I do understand a lot of the subtleties of the disease that probably would evade me. But then, sometimes it's hard because I'm looking at the future potentially and try to really understand that everybody's journey is different. My father's outcomes are hopefully not going to be mine. And then I have children who are watching all of this, which so you balance all of that and you make priorities, and you're glad for the gifts it brings, but you have to be honest too. I think people need to know that it's a struggle. Some days are better than others.
Right. Yeah. Well, kudos to you. My mother also has Parkinson's, so this is is closest to my heart. John, why is early detection so important?
Yeah, for a number of reasons. I think the first is if you are starting to experience some symptoms that are, in the Parkinson's orbit, it's good to get those checked out and to be to see a neurologist who can diagnose you. They may say, no, those aren't Parkinson's symptoms, and you don't have it. But if you do, it's good to get that diagnosed early. One, it'll ease your burden of mind, right? You'll know what you're dealing with, and then you can start making a plan. Two, the doctor will likely get you on a drug course, a medication course, so that the symptoms that you're experiencing will now be mitigated by that drug, not cured, not solved, but mitigated. And third, there's other things that accrue from it. One, you'll start to connect with other people. Parkinson's can be an extremely socially isolating disease. And so once you know you have it, you can start to reach out to other people and get access to more resources that are going to help you live well with the disease. And then finally, what we always encourage people with Parkinson's to do is get on a course of exercise. Whatever it is that gets your heart racing a little bit is really good for keeping Parkinson's at bay. So the sooner you do all of those things, we think the better off you're going to be in your journey with Parkinson's.
Great. Well, what would you say the top symptom that happens that you need to follow up? Is it the tremor that you were talking about, Susan?
Yeah, I think, what probably happens first, but people may not notice it, is a loss of sense of smell. Just kind of like in COVID. And then people will often, start noticing a resting tremor, whether it's in their arm, their hand, their foot, their leg. Usually that's a sign, but it doesn't always mean it's Parkinson's. That's why it's really important to go and have somebody who's an expert in it diagnose it.
Great. Great information on the loss of the sense. Any update on any new treatments or possible cure?
Yeah, so, there still is no cure for Parkinson's. It's a very complex disease affecting all sorts of different symptoms, systems in the body. We have learned so much through research over the last 2 decades, and so we know some of the things that are going on in the body with Parkinson's, what's going on in the brain, that you're losing dopamine neurons with Parkinson's, and, there's a protein that's maybe causing that. Maybe there's some biome issues that are in play as well. That is all to say that there are a number of target areas that we're looking at for new and better therapies. Like I said, we've learned a lot. We still don't have a cure, but as long as we continue to invest in research and the best scientists in the world, I am confident that one day soon we will have a cure for Parkinson's.
Yeah, looking forward to that. How does Parkinson's impact younger individuals?
Well, I'll let Susan take that because, she was diagnosed with young onset.
And let's be clear, this is the only category where I'm considered young. But
I'm ageless, so we're not even going there.
Yeah, right. I look at the kinds of symptoms my father has and the kinds of things that he's struggles with, he has these really off periods and he freezes, call it freezing, and just really struggling to move in general and get out of chairs and things. He's far along. My issues tend to be more stamina related. I do have a tremor. I do have a loss of smell. But it's kind of having the movement, the fluid movement, and the energy, frankly, to keep up with going to work and, having kids and making dinner and doing all those things. And I think for me, looking ahead at all of that, it's really about, how if I've got 30 years ahead of me, I have to be able to do some things to take care of myself that are going to make those things possible.
Right. And we're running out of time, so I don't want to lose what kind of resources are available. You can point people in that direction. And what should someone do if they have symptoms or suspect that a family member might have the disease?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say is go to our website, parkinson.org. That's parkinson.org. We have all the resources that can help walk you through, what it means, what Parkinson's is, what it might look like from the symptom perspective, some treatment options, and just a whole wealth of other information that can be helpful. I would also recommend that you call our helpline, which is open during normal business hours in the U.S. It's 800-4PD-INFO, 800-4PD-INFO. It's staffed by experts in Parkinson's, and they will be able to help answer some questions and then direct you to other places for additional resources. And then I would say, make an appointment with a neurologist to make sure that, if you have it, you can be diagnosed with it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Susan and John, for coming on the show and sharing this very helpful information. I wish you the very best and look forward to another conversation with you.
Okay. Well, thank you. And best
Thank you
to your
so
mother.
much. All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
And that is, let's make sure we got that. There we go. And that is recognizing World Parkinson's Day. That was a couple of days ago. And I didn't know that the first symptom is like the one of COVID, losing your sense of smell. So that was very helpful information. It also helps me understand why my mom thinks that the food where she's staying, the assisted living in Toronto, it tastes terrible. It's because she doesn't smell and doesn't have that ability for the aroma. So that gave me a little more compassion. I just love these kinds of interviews that help give us some more awareness of what's going on. Next month is Parkinson's month. So if you know anyone who has Parkinson's, or this information now about early detection, please do share that. That's one of the great things that I absolutely enjoy about having this show. And now the Sleep Awareness Week interview with Dr. Carlos Nunez. We'll see what he has to say about a survey that he took.
That people have a difficult time getting to sleep. Just in time for National Sleep Awareness Week and Daylight Savings Time, a new survey examines what keeps people up at night, and some of the findings might surprise you. Sleep expert Dr. Carlos Nunez of ResMed is here to share important information from the survey about the importance of quality sleep and how sleep impacts our overall health. Welcome to my studio, Dr. Carlos Nunez.
Hi, how are you?
I'm happy and grateful, thank you.
And thank you for having me.
So, Dr. Nunez, why is sleep so important?
So sleep is one of the three pillars of good health. Sleep, diet, and exercise together are the most important things we can do. And as you know, as Americans, we obsess over diet and exercise, but quite often we let our sleep sort of suffer. But good, healthy sleep is what allows your body to recharge and to heal itself every day. Think about the things we do to our body every day, from all the thoughts we have, the stress we deal with, to, our muscles and our bones get sore. We can get sick and catch infections. At night, your immune system, your muscles, your brain, everything takes time to sort things out, to relax, to recharge, and to heal itself. It is the most important thing we can do every single day for our health, and one of the things we ignore the most.
That makes sense. So what keeps people up at night?
So we did a survey in conjunction with National Sleep Awareness Week.
Up at night.
And in the survey, what we found was that Americans say stress is the number one reason why they are not sleeping. And not really a big surprise. Insomnia is a pretty common sleep disorder, and stressful thoughts are sort of the number one complaint. People will say, I lay down and I just can't turn my brain off. Yeah, some of the other findings that were interesting to me were that half of the respondents said their doctor has never asked them about their sleep, which is important. You should be asked, just like your doctor asks about your diet and asks about your other habits. Sleep is so important. So my colleagues need to do a better job of talking with their patients about sleep. The other finding was that more than half of Americans admit that they snore, but a third of them don't even realize snoring can be a sign of a more serious condition like sleep apnea.
So why should someone be concerned about snoring and other sleep issues?
So snoring, as I mentioned, is potentially a sign of a condition called sleep apnea, which is a devastating and potentially deadly condition that 1 billion people, that's with a B, have. more than diabetes. And sleep apnea is also interesting because of those billion people that have it, more than 80% are completely undiagnosed and unaware that they have it. What it means is during sleep, you stop breathing to the point where you're suffocating. The oxygen in your blood drops. Your brain freaks out because it thinks you are dying. It thinks you are suffocating. And it will send an adrenaline rush through your body that wakes you up just enough to take a breath, but not enough to even really know what's happening. So you will go through a cycle of suffocating, brain freaks out, wake up a little bit. Suffocating, brain freaks out, wake up a little bit. Over and over. A mild case of sleep apnea, you stop breathing 5 to 15 times an hour, every hour that you breathe. So if you snore, or if you're always tired during the day, wake up with headaches, wake up sweaty, or with a sore, scratchy throat, these are all signs that you may suffer from sleep apnea, and all good reasons to talk to your doctor about your sleep and your sleep quality.
Wow, I had no idea. What is the treatment for sleep apnea?
Sure. There are several different treatments, everything from surgery or implants to mouthpieces, but the gold standard of treatment, the one that seems to work the best and work for most people, is what we call CPAP. It's CPAP, stands for Continuous Positive Airway Pressure. And there is a device that sits on your bedstand, on your nightstand, and it blows a gentle stream of air under pressure through your airways to keep them open so the air and the oxygen can flow. Now, many people have a sort of a mistaken impression CPAP is a big, loud device and you have to strap this big thing to your face like Darth Vader. It may have been that way 10, 15, 20 years ago, but I can speak from firsthand knowledge. I have sleep apnea. I sleep with a CPAP device every single night. This has been going on with me longer than I worked for ResMed, so I know about this as a human and as a patient, not just as the chief medical officer at ResMed, and it's changed my life. I never realized what a good night's sleep felt like until that first night where I slept with the CPAP, woke up the next morning and realized, oh my goodness, my head isn't foggy. I must have actually slept and breathed all night long like a person is supposed to. So there are therapies out there. There are a variety of choices. Most people will settle on CPAP because it is the gold standard of treatment. But the most important thing, talk to your doctor. Start with your doctor if you have any concerns.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about this very important thing. It's almost like no wonder you're disoriented when you don't have a good night's sleep if you have sleep apnea, because you literally are brain dead for a little bit. So very important to point out. Is there somewhere that people can get more information from you?
Yes, there is a great website. It is sleepforbettertomorrow.com. Again, sleepforbettertomorrow.com. Great information about sleep health in general. There's a quiz you can take to help you gauge your risk for sleep disorders and lots of good information. So sleepforbettertomorrow.com.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wasn't that cool? I had no idea. You know, when people snore, it's just one of those, oh, they snore, and I'm told I snore. I remember when I went on vacation with my parents, you know, when we were younger, and it was like World War III, the two of them snoring at the same time. So I never wanted to snore. I had no idea, though, that snoring is not just a, you know, an annoyance. It actually is. It could be a serious health issue. When I heard that part about, you know, the brain literally not getting oxygen for 4 or 5 times an hour, that's some serious stuff. So if you are a snorer and you are disoriented, you might want to talk to your doctor about that solution. So I hope you enjoyed both of those, Parkinson's organization interview, as well as this Sleep Awareness Week information. And make sure you go to my YouTube channel. You can always click on this show and share it with anyone who might benefit from that information. If you would like to be a guest on this show and promote your book or your business or an event, again, go to drmarissa.life and let me know, and we'll start the conversation. So I know that it is, let's see, how much time do I have left? I have 5 minutes left, or 4 minutes left. A couple of things. One is next week, I'm so excited to bring you someone, those of you who saw my interview with Marion Ross. Do you remember? If you're young, you probably don't know, although it's still playing on some channel, which is Monday, Tuesday, happy days. Wednesday, Thursday, happy days. Does that jog a memory? So Marion Ross is Mrs. Cunningham. She was amazing. She's still with us. She's, I believe she's 91 now, and she's wonderful and beautiful. I am going to replay her interview because on Friday, her son is coming on into my studio. We're going to do a live interview. So I want to just give you a heads up on that. It's going to be a great interview. He is very talented, following in his mom's footsteps. So we're going to have him on the air on Friday. And then I'm going to try something. We'll see if it works. I haven't told you, Sam, but I'm telling you now. I get to speak at a conference down in San Diego. It's a friend of mine who runs what Yahoo Finance calls the #1 business conference that you will not want to miss in 2022. They've gotten the same accolades every year from Entrepreneurial Magazine, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm grateful that I've spoken on his stage several times. I get to cover their red carpet. He's had amazing guests like, I remember one year he had Edward Snowden. Some of you, if you haven't watched that movie, it's a great movie, true story, a guy who whistle blew the government and has been exiled because he let everybody know that they were being taped and watched. And because of the Patriot Act, I believe, I may have gotten that wrong. But because of that, civilians and people who are not even suspects are allowed to be surveillanced. And so he didn't think that was right, and he spoke up and got exiled. So he had him on as a guest streaming from Russia. He's had President Fox, who I got to interview backstage. If you haven't seen that on my YouTube Red Carpet playlist, go and check that out. He's great. He's had, the founder of UGG Boots. I have that interview. I got to interview him, of Priceline. So a lot of these guys are now really good friends because I get to see them at these events. So I'm going to try to broadcast live from San Diego next week. So we'll see how that goes. And that will be great if we can do it so that I can still travel and come to you live. So Sam, there's your warning. And the good thing is, I'm grateful for smartphones that can really do a lot of different things. So we're going to try to do that. Tuesdays and Thursdays, as we continue to have compliments and callers. And if you have a pen, I'm going to give you the new number. And if you forget, you can still call the old number 888-909-1050, which is on all of the promos. But this number is a little long, but I know Ismail, who's been a great interactor. If you'd like to call in with a question, if you have relationship questions like, should I stay, should I go? If you have, body image questions like I shared my own story. If you have some questions about family dynamics, those of you who know I'm a psychologist. I'm not a clinical psychologist, so I'm not qualified as a clinician. I'm an organizational psychologist, but I am a happiness coach, and I do have quite a bit of experience not because of my work, but because of who I am and the trauma that I myself went through as a child, as being one of the 7 out of 10 of us who have had childhood trauma. So that's how the book came about. And those of you who have not picked this up, there's actually exercises inside, because I know that you do not have to carry around oversized emotional baggage for the rest of your life if you had a childhood like mine. So I will give you Happy 88 tools from the book and connect with you so that you can be happier. So those are Tuesdays and Thursdays as we start this rolling, where you can also come into the studio. And Dee Knoll came in from Illinois, and there I'll put a link down where you can actually be part of the show. All right. And that's it for today's episode of Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KZAA. And remember, peace in, peace out, world peace through, inner peace. Have the best weekend ever. See you Monday.